speaking a little bit about being current today and the difference between the way that we train and the way that we try to teach our student athletes to perform versus the way a lot of other people do in at least the student athlete field. But it's very similar to the way that it is in the entrepreneur field or the business field. So we're inside the goal setting module here talking about numbers 11 through 15, and I'll get to that in a second. But we're really talking about goal setting number 5 and how the organization and execution, the everyday habits, your decision making, and then your internal and external communication in coordination with your practice and your training, how that is involved in your goal setting. And so just a quick review on numbers 11 through 15. Number 11 is, well, first start off with number 10. Number 10 was how your goals fit in line with your guiding principles, beliefs, values, etc. So we figured all that stuff out. Now we get into 11 through 15, and it's really talking about, okay, now what are you doing day to day and how is that impacting, and then recalibrating on a daily basis to make sure that you're always staying up to date, which is kind of funny because always staying up to date right there is a typewriter, which means, always staying up to date. You're looking at a typewriter. Is that the most up-to-date technology? No, but if you're trying to unplug and get some things done, maybe it's more helpful because there's less distraction. This one's kind of up-to-date. Is it on time? Then we get to this one where it's real time, which is where we're trying to make our decisions, because Eric Thomas will tell us, in order to take advantage of the opportunity of a lifetime, you have to take advantage of that in the lifetime of the opportunity, which is what we're talking about. So number 11 is, what can you focus on in your daily track and what will keep you on track? So meaning this could be process related or it could be performance related. So either or. We'll get to all this in a second. Then number 12, how can you leverage your efforts with your environment, people, and energy? Number 13 is, what are the next actions for each goal? Number 14, the same time every night, review your goals and actions. And then number 15, the same time every morning, review and reset your goals and actions. Okay, so what does this mean in a nutshell? What it means is you really need to make sure that you're staying current. Okay, different meanings for current right here. Could mean electricity, could mean what's going on right now, could mean, your currents in a river or something along those lines. Everything, all of those are kind of the flow of what's going on and making sure that you're aware of the situation right now. So a lot of people will design a program, whether this program is for their practice plan or it could be their business plan, it could be your training plan. Now, if I give you, like, a lot of people buy training plans from people and then they don't touch back in with them, they don't keep current with what's going on in their life. You could get a training plan designed on Monday just for the week, and by Friday it's obsolete. Why? Because like with a business, if you budget and you forecast, it's not the same thing. A forecast is looking at historical data, and then you're recalibrating on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. The budget's done ahead of time, and it's based on kind of your goals and everything else, the needs and all that other stuff, but it's not the same thing as a forecast. And so the difference between planning with a budget without a forecast is the difference between, like, staying current with the ever-evolving variables. And then the variance then thereafter with what you hoped would happen versus what is happening. So if you plan yourself a fabulous workout day on Friday and you've got a weekend off, but then by Friday you're hurt or you're sick or whatever, what do? You table that workout till Monday? Okay, well, that's great, but Friday workout is not the same as a Monday workout. They're very different. And depending on the person's schedule or what they have going on, it's going to change. So if you think that starting off and then budgeting for something with a plan versus sitting down to reforecast is going to be okay, one without the other is not great. You don't want to not have some sort of master plan in your head, or at least on paper, and then just kind of fly by the seat of your pants. That's not forecasting. That's just kind of seeing how it goes and then just doing it. Like, and that's okay too, but then you don't have a big, an overall map to lead you in a direction where you want to go. Forecasting with budgeting is where you want to be, and that is how it works with the goal setting module, and that's how it should be working in your everyday life. So when you sit down to set your goals for the day, they should work in with the goals that you had already set, and your vision or your dream or whatever it is that you sat down and mapped out at the beginning of the year or a couple years ago or whatever, and then you need to update that. The most important thing though is you need to update that, and you need to take bold actions based on what you're trying to do. And those bold actions need to keep in mind technologies being updated. What you could do, a year ago is not the same as what you can do now, with exponential technologies like Peter Diamandis and Elon Musk will tell you. You've got to prepare to either disrupt yourself or your training or have somebody else disrupt it. Meaning, if you're just going to sit down and you're going to say, all right, well, I'm doing this 12-week program and everything's going to be perfect, that's great, and it might go that way. But chances are, somewhere along the lines, you're going to either improve more than you planned or less, or maybe you get sick, or maybe you get hurt, or maybe something comes along and a new technology and it helps you optimize what you're doing. And if you're not sitting down and checking in with yourself on a daily basis or multiple times a day basis, you're not going to get to where you need to get. Now, that also means like trying to be fair with yourself with regards to timelines. You may have hoped to get to, let's say you hope to get to 400-pound clean by whatever date. Maybe it was before you had a combine coming up or something, or let's say something that's more visual or manageable for most of you. Let's say a 400-pound squat, whatever, and you're trying to get to a 400-pound squat by a particular day. If you miss that day, typically it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. It just means you have to recalibrate and then push forward from there. Perfect example is this. It's an NFL Combine was a while ago, and now the NFL Draft was like a few days ago. And so there's a lot of people that hope to get drafted. They didn't get drafted. Some of them were, all of them probably were phenomenal athletes and great football players. Now, one of them that I was following, he didn't get drafted, but literally after the final draft selection went out there, within, I think it was an hour, maybe it was probably minutes, within minutes, he got a phone call from a team and they signed him, put him under contract. Did he get drafted? No. What was his goal of getting drafted? His goal of getting drafted was probably getting signed on to a team to give himself the opportunity to actually be on an NFL roster, during the first week of the season. So does he still have that opportunity? Yeah. Did he get drafted? No, he didn't. But so he missed, that opportunity, but it wasn't the end of the road. It just meant he needed to take new action. Now, he didn't have much time to, lose faith because those minutes afterwards that he got the phone call. But the bottom line is like, okay, he stayed current. He did everything he could possibly do to make it happen, as far as we know, because it sounded like he was probably the most dedicated, hardest work I've ever heard of. And he missed that opportunity. But then moments later, boom, a new opportunity arose. Now, again, he did everything he could do, and sometimes you just miss that mark, but he still met his goal, or he's still on course to meet his goal. So it's important to understand you can take care of everything and just, keep that growth mindset and thinking like, I'm going to adjust, I'm going to be, I'm going to, whatever the variance is with whatever my goals were, whatever the variables are, I'm going to pay attention to them. I'm going to recalibrate on a daily basis. If I need to change my strategy a little bit, I'll change my strategy. If I need to adjust, I'll adjust. If I need to sit back down and say, why is this not, growing? Like the other day we were talking about really getting leverage on something. Okay. Maybe you're not squatting because you're not activating your glutes properly. Maybe your knee alignment is off. Maybe your ankle is a little weak. Like, where are you losing energy? Where is that current broken? Where's the chain broken? Looking at all those things. And then today we're talking about 11 through 15 in goal setting. So really keeping up to date with yourself, tracking where you're at, reforecasting on a daily basis to come up with a new plan, a new idea.